Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 54 here on season 2. And today we are getting into what are the new stocks on Stash. What we will be doing in this episode is covering, first of all, stocks that have been released on Stash recently, and then also answering a question that comes from Christopher Michaels, which he asked, how do you feel about the stock choices on Stash? How do you feel about GE considering what's happened with them lately, probably in the news and that kind of thing? But anyways, these videos are meant for educational purposes only and not meant to be taken as financial advice. You are responsible to protect your own assets, so always please make sure that you do your own research. Let's go ahead and look at the stocks. The new stocks that are listed on Stash are going to be Apple, Amazon, Walt Disney, Facebook, Alphabet, General Electric, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and then Netflix and Walmart. As you could tell just by the name of those, all those are like really popular brands. I mean, most of them are going to be like top market cap kind of companies. Market cap companies. The only two that right off the top I can look at and see would be like NVIDIA, maybe a little bit of Netflix. I don't know how big they are because I haven't done a whole lot of research on them. Possibly like a General Electric would be maybe. I know that General Electric still has a huge market cap, but they're definitely falling off, and I think that's why the question was asked about how I feel about them. As far as the companies go, though, how do I feel about them? I think that they're great for beginning investors and maybe people that are just looking to reinvest the dividends and looking for maybe that solid kind of growth year over year. For me, I'm not looking specifically into investing into these type of companies. I'm looking for undervalued companies that are going to get growth that's going to beat the S&P 500, especially on my Robinhood account with Stash. I may pick up 1 or 2 or 3 of these type of companies, but for the most part, I will stick to my original plan of staying with the ETFs and then reinvesting the dividends and continuing to do the same thing. I could see myself owning every single one of these stocks, but definitely not like making a majority of my holding into one of these stocks. But as far as it goes with GE, I like GE in some regards. Oh, don't want to add a little bit. I want to click on it. As far as it goes into GE, I did actually pick up a share in them yesterday at $14.14 when they had their like low. The lowest they hit yesterday was $13.95. And so in my last video where I talk about GE and whether I would buy them or not, I covered my price kind of analysis on them and where I would buy it. And my price was at $14.14. The equation that I kind of ran off of, that's where my buy price was. So I wanted to test it and I was like, okay, I'll just pick up GE and see where it goes from there. Right now, as of today, probably close of today, I stand 3% up with GE. So it's really nice in the short term. However, I kind of just threw that $14.14 away and said, here you go. A Robinhood or GE, you can have it, and we'll see where it goes from there. However, you look at the chart, it looks like, they had a huge run up right here to the very peak, and then it's like, boom, man, we've been in this decline, this bear market on GE ever since about 2000. So I feel bad for people that have been holding since 2000 and are like, yeah, it's gonna go up. So sorry if that's you. Hopefully you protect your assets and get out of the market. We did have a steep down run from 2007 to 2008, which a majority of companies did, which is pretty understandable, but we didn't, like most companies, beat the high that we had in 2007. So in GE, we've only hit at a high around like $30, where up here it was at $38 or actually $40. So it was up $10 more than in 2007 than it is at the high of the market, which was about $30. As this decrease starts to happen, my only concern is that it will not bounce back up to that high that it was at around $30, and that it is actually a company that's fading out as a business. And maybe that's just because the business life cycle of it is going. I don't specifically know, or it's just that there's been bad news in the companies and a whole lot of debt, and there's just a lot of turmoil and bad news and media around the company. Again, I'm only holding a position, 1 share in it for right now, and we'll see where it actually goes. I think that short term, yeah, it could be a good buy short term, but as far as like a long term hold, I think that there's better stocks that even Stash has listed besides GE. So for me, if I'm looking at it long term, just is too much that is unknown with this stock that I would long term leave it alone and kind of let it run its course until stuff gets figured out and there's more direction in regards to the actual company. Also, I did like the fact that Stash did ask their members to vote on the stocks. I think that that really, gave the people a voice. I think it really goes to show you that they did value their opinion, because they did release companies like NVIDIA and Netflix and a few other companies that they weren't looking at releasing. And Stash just said that they were looking at also adding more stocks, and the voting is still going to continue to be open. So if you guys want, go over there and vote. We will leave it right there. Let's go ahead and dive into the question of the day, which is, what was the best thing that happened to you today? For me, it was honestly hanging out with my wife and son. Actually, me and Jacob were playing cars right here behind where I was for probably 30 minutes to 40 minutes. A game that he kind of created called Pass the Cars or something like that. I don't even know what it was called, but it was really fun. It was just a great bonding time. That was probably the best thing that happened to me today. Like I always say, if you have any questions regarding Stash, Acorns, Robinhood, as well as general investing advice, business, Etsy coaching, post those questions down below. Do not forget to subscribe up here and check out my Stash recap January edition. Check out this other video right here. And as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.